David, thank you. That dangerous flooding shut down Hershey Park in Pennsylvania today. The popular tourist attraction was closed Monday as well. And with the heavy rain David just mentioned, it'll be closed again tomorrow. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano live there tracking the flood warnings here in the east, the concerns in the west. Rob, take it away.
Good evening, David. 5 days of heavy rain here in Hershey and another strong push coming tonight. We've got a flash flood warning up for much of the Susquehanna Valley, and the risk for dangerous flooding exceeds into parts of central New York. There you see it. The front finally going to squeeze off to the east, so look for heavy rain to increase in D.C., Philly, New York tonight. Boston as well. You're under a flash flood watch for 1 to 3 inches of additional rainfall. A couple of severe watch boxes out in the Midwest, including Colorado, which has had its fair share of flash flooding this week. And the heat continues to build out west with heat alerts all the way up into western Washington state, where fires continue to burn. They can only dream of this kind of rain. David?
Rob Marciano with us live tonight in a very wet Pennsylvania. Rob, thank you.
And as we certainly have team coverage this morning of all of the flooding conditions out there. I believe we are joined by our colleague this morning from ABC, Rob Marciano from Good Morning America. He is here actually live at the Duke Street Bridge in Hummelstown. Rob, this has been some storm to keep track of, and actually not really a named tropical system, but still so dangerous across our region the last several days.
Yeah, for sure, Brett, I tell you, but it had that tropical connection, didn't it? And we know from previous experience, specifically 2011, that once you get a tropical connection, it's going to rain heavily and often. And we saw it for five straight days here in the Susquehanna Valley, and record rains because of it for the month of July. So it's no surprise that we're seeing what we're seeing here. We're just grateful that it's not to the extreme that the floods were in 2011. But this is certainly a terrible flood, an exhausting one for the community, an exhausting one for newsrooms. That's one of the horrible things about flooding. And then once the floodwaters recede, which we hope they'll start to do in earnest today, and then tomorrow after the Susquehanna crests, and then the work of cleaning up gets to be even more tiring. So this is a long process, and our hearts go out with you. We know ABC 27 is working for the community, and GMA and ABC News as a network is here working for you guys, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. And, we obviously know that Hershey Park is shut down again today. Have you talked with any residents over there? What are you seeing, and how are they coping with this on this very rough Thursday morning?
Well, Hershey, the town, seems to be okay. Spring Creek, as you know, that goes right through the park is flooded, and the water is high in some spots in the park. But they're more concerned, the officials that I've spoken to at the park, they're more concerned with the safety of their customers getting to and from the park. The bridges and some of the state roads getting into Hershey itself are still blocked because of the swollen Swatera, and the Spring Creek. So we still have issues with that, and the water's not going down too quickly. So it may be another day. They may open tomorrow. They'll make that announcement later on today, but it may be a slow go. We're hopeful, though, for the weekend, and they'll need that business, certainly. I think the park will be open this weekend for sure. Brett.
Well, thanks so much, Rob, for joining us. We're going to look for your reports as well coming up here on Good Morning America in just a little bit, and we want you to stay safe out there as well.
Thanks, Cecilia. It is a much different scene on the East Coast with unrelenting rain and severe flooding. We want you to take a look at these images from Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. And for the third day this week, the famed amusement park is shut down because of that flooding. ABC's Rob Marciano is in the area. And Rob, it's so very rare to see the park closed for this period of time.
It is, Paula. The last time it was closed was 2011 when these water levels rose to record heights. This flood is challenging those levels, the second highest level on record. You can see that the building behind me clearly is submerged in this river. And then out in the middle of the water, all that debris, some of it at least, is part of a dumpster that was floated in the river, flipped over and got pinned across a bridge that you barely can see because it's submerged in the water. This is technically a creek, but today it is a raging river after 5 straight days of relentless rain.
Overnight, blinding rain blasting Kansas. Drivers barely navigating the water-soaked streets. That school's roof ripped right off when it was over. And the flooding continues across Pennsylvania, leading to rescue after rescue, rivers overflowing.
If you live by a creek, you know it's going to flood, get out.
Fire crews working to rescue families from their flooded neighborhoods.
They were staging to rescue the people in the houses across the creek. because the creek had rose above the road and they couldn't drive out.
One person killed and a woman swept away while crossing a rain-swollen creek, still missing this morning. Sinkholes opening up across the state.
We're in a neighborhood where it's just happening and you just never know when you're going to wake up and have this in your backyard.
And in Hershey Park, Pennsylvania, the amusement park shutting down for a third day after many of the rides were left swamped.
Over 50 state roads are closed across Pennsylvania because of flooding. Many subdivisions remain evacuated. This water is cresting this morning, but it's all flowing into the larger Susquehanna, which is forecast to crest later on tonight in flood stage in Harrisburg. The bright news is, for the first time in nearly a week, Paula, today at least, will be dry.
A little bit of bright news. Rob Marciano, thank you so much. Cecilia?
All right, there are new.
Thank you. We are also learning more tonight about tornadoes touching down here in the Northeast and with force. 2 EF1 tornadoes in western Massachusetts bringing 100-mile-an-hour winds, leaving a path of destruction in Upton, Massachusetts. Powerful floodwaters buckling and destroying the asphalt on Route 39 right there in central Pennsylvania. The Susquehanna River still under flood warnings after a foot of rain. Senior meteorologist Rob Marciano live in eastern Pennsylvania tonight, where we can see the Lehigh River raging right there behind you, Rob.
Yeah, you can, David. It is rushing violently into the Delaware River, which is still rising tonight. Thankfully, today was a dry day, but tomorrow more rain in the forecast and again next week. So let's time it out. Storms are going to fire along the front tomorrow around 3, 4 o'clock in the flood zone, and then pushing to the I-95 corridor, Baltimore, Philly, D.C., and New York around 8, 9 o'clock. Some of these could be rough again like they were last night, so we got to look out for that. And like last night, we've got a severe watch out for the high plains, and likely there again tomorrow for severe storms. And the heat today peaking in the west, but it only cools by a few degrees tomorrow, so advisories and warnings remain up where those wildfires burn hot tonight. David?
Rob Marciano with us live from Pennsylvania. Thank you, Rob, all week long here. And the